Hey Gav, it is Wednesday the 9th of June, and today's video was going to be about me walking down to the Muppet Studios, which I did, and, talking about the Muppet Studios, talking about different walks I've been on around Hollywood, but stuff's been happening. During iCousins 2.0, the first round, because we were bad at naming stuff, we would often say, there's people everywhere. Obviously, with the pandemic, there has not really been people everywhere, but yesterday, oh my goodness, there were people everywhere. As I'm sure you're aware, but for the sake of anyone who isn't / future Peter watching this being like, what are you talking about? There has been a huge amount of protest lately about the killing of a black man by the American police. This has sparked nationwide protests. Because I'm here on a visa and I don't do anything that's going to risk that visa, I've been staying home and staying away from them. But yesterday, I literally was just going to walk to the Muppet Studio to see the Muppet Studio, and to my surprise, accidentally walked through 2 different protest marches. I didn't get a huge amount of footage, but I took some photos and I got some footage, and I'm going to play those as I finish this video. Obviously, and it should probably go without saying, Black Lives Matter. The treatment of African Americans in this country is just historically woeful. I read a really interesting article recently. The Case for Reparations, it was called. I'll put a link in the bottom. Really, really strong recommend. Fascinating article. It inspired, of all things, the new Watchmen series. So that's how I found out about it. But specifically, being African American and alive in this country is very scary when it comes to the police, because you can be killed for pretty much no reason, and people are again and again and again, and it's atrocious. And so I fully support the protests, I fully support the marches. You'll hear a lot of rhetoric about, like, they're just doing it for loots, they're doing it for the looting and riots, and they don't care about this, and that's just people trying to spin stuff that they disagree with, and not worth paying much heed. Yes, there are a few people who are taking advantage of the chaos to do bad things, but that is true of any situation, and definitely not solely a factor when the left does anything or when African Americans do anything, so ignore that. I saw so many signs and so many protesters, and it was really fascinating and kind of alarming how few people were wearing masks, so I fully expect another big wave of COVID to hit after this. Total side note, I learned that COVID-19 is the disease, not the virus. The virus is called like SARS-2 or something like that. The disease that the virus gives you is called COVID, just like HIV is the virus and AIDS is the disease. So in conclusion, whoa, stuff's happening and it's crazy, and I accidentally walked through it despite Googling ahead of time where are the protests going to be so I could try to avoid them. I hope you're staying well. I'm loving my time off. I might talk about that when I see you next time.